Hey everybody, Pastor Steve here. Thank you for being with me today. We come to the end of another week. It's the Friday before Father's Day. So to all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. I hope you have a great weekend. And again, join us for worship here at First Baptist this Sunday as well. All three of our worship services, 8:30, 9:45, and 11 o'clock. Look forward to seeing you. Today in our Bible reading plan for our devotion, we are in Psalm 64. Psalm 64, and I like this psalm. I really do. It's very practical, very wise, and I think it teaches us some important things. Now, you're saying, all right, Steve, how do you get that out of this? Because in this psalm, David describes people who have evil motives, who plot against other people, who lay traps for people to get them in trouble. People who seek to destroy others with their words or with accusations and so on. And you see that, for example, just in verses 3, 4, and 5. He says, talking about these evil people with bad intentions, he says, who have sharpened their tongue like a sword. They aimed bitter speech as their arrow, to shoot from concealment at the blameless, almost innuendo or out of sight. In other words, they start a rumor, nobody knows where it got started. Verse 5, they hold fast to themselves an evil purpose. Their intent is not godly or good. They talk of laying snares secretly, and they say, who can see them? People won't catch us doing it, and we'll catch them in the traps. These are just people who like to hurt other people. You know, it sounds like a lot of the discourse in our culture today, whether it's political discourse, just the media, whatever it is, it's just about gotcha moments. It's just gotcha moments. Let me see who I can destroy. So you're wondering, well, Pastor, why did you say you like this chapter? Because in the midst of it, I think he gives us some teaching, some instruction on how we are to act, how we are to deal with this junk, how we are to live in this world where people try to do those things, sometimes to us. For instance, verse 2, David says, hide me from the secret counsel of evildoers, from the tumult of those who do iniquity. Hide me from the secret counsel, the secret plans, the secret decisions of evildoers. I read that and I thought about, pray for God to protect you even when you don't know God is doing it. See, you don't always know when someone is plotting against you, but God does. Pray for God to protect you even when you don't know you need protecting. That's one way to respond to this. Another is found in verse 7. He says, but God will shoot at them with an arrow, talking about people who use their words and accusations and gossip and half-truths and innuendo and so on, to like arrows to attack people. He says, but God, in verse 7, God will shoot at them with an arrow, and suddenly they will be wounded. In other words, pray for God to fight your battles for you. Pray for God to fight your battles for you. See, you pray for God to protect you even when you don't know you need protecting. Pray for God to defend you. Pray for God to fight your battles for you. Old and New Testament both talk about letting God be the one to take vengeance. It belongs to Him. Pray for God to fight your battles for you because He's able to do that. And then verse 10, the righteous man will be glad in the Lord and will take refuge in Him. Keep your eyes and your heart on Jesus. Sort of like we talked about yesterday, no matter what you're going through, keep your eyes and your heart on Jesus. When you take your eyes off Him and you begin fighting the way the world fights, you become more like the world. And you lose the joy of your salvation. So pray for God to protect you even when you don't know you need it. Pray for God to fight your battles for you. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep your heart on Jesus, and then watch what God will do in your life. That is so contradictory to how our culture operates. But hey, the gospel of Jesus Christ is radical anyway. The love of God is radical anyway. And the ways of God at times seem radical to the world. So from Psalm 64, I think that's some good practical advice, not just advice, but teaching, encouragement on how we are to act and how we are to carry ourselves and how we are to live in the midst of a culture that is in attack mode, destroy mode all the time. Because after all, God can fight better than I can. He can fight better than you can. So let him do it. Let him do that for you. Hey, God bless you. I'll see you Sunday. Happy Father's Day, everybody.